See, I wasn't even going to do a review for this film, but like I love the franchise so much, so I had to. So yeah, let's get into the review of Fast 9 right now. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. Today we're going to be reviewing the film Fast 9, the Fast and Furious 9, whatever you want to call it, which is going to be coming to theaters the 25th this Friday. So yeah, June 25th. And like, I wasn't going to review it because like I saw it, like so many other people got a chance to review this already. It came out overseas, and I just figured that like if I did it, my review would just get swamped under the rug because so many other people have had a chance to view it. But like, I feel like it is my job to make sure that I still get some thoughts out about this film for my fan base here and all my subscribers. I love you all, and this is why I gotta just do it anyway. But yeah, nonetheless, I've been really waiting to see this film. Like, you don't know it, but I have it poster in my studio right now, and I do have a poster that says summer, so it didn't really have a date, but it's the poster that was going to be for the original release. And I've just been so excited to see this since then, and now getting the chance to see it, although I'm late with, you know, in regards to other critics being there, as far as the other critics who already got a chance to see it, I still want to get some thoughts out about this film. Now, here's the thing. I love this franchise, so I know exactly what I'm getting when I'm going to see a Fast and the Furious movie. Again, if by now 9 movies, including Hobbs and Shaw, which we can say is another film, which would be the 10th film inside of this franchise or this universe. If you don't know by now that this film is just all about fun, and they practically embrace the silliness to the point that like they even make jokes about their own selves in this film, then I don't know what to say. Like, there's no science, there's no logic. It's the most impractical film, period. It's totally enjoyable, and they just raise the stakes each and every film. So like, if you know that going into the film, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this film, because they sure as hell had fun with this film. Like, it's written all over it. But I gotta say that it's good to see them getting back to the racing aspect of the Fast and Furious franchise. They got away from that from a little bit, as things has kind of transitioned into it being about heists. But there was a lot of race and car presence in this that really incorporated why we first got into this franchise. Fast cars, racing for high stakes, and so on. So we did get some of that back in this as well too. So I definitely appreciated that. Also gotta say, the opening scene, we get to see the backstory about the Toretto brothers and his father, and how they, you know, the backstory about how Dom went to jail and what happened to their dad, and you know how Jakob, his brother, how they're all kind of, you know, what's the whole relationship between them, what's the dynamic between them. And actually, Dom's father died in a car accident, which is eerie resemblance of how Dale Earnhardt died as well too. So I think there was a little bit of a nod towards that, the one of the, you know, most historic and legendary NASCAR drivers in Dale Earnhardt, which is obviously, you know, if you want to tell a story about an iconic driver, then yeah, you definitely want to use, you know, resemblance of his story. So yeah, you definitely do get a lot of backstory to the Toretto brothers, as well as other characters who Dom met in his younger days in his jail time. But it is kind of funny because like there is issues with the plot, and like one of the biggest issues to me was like parenting. Like, Dom was basically like, yeah, we're not going to take no missions anymore, we're parents. And then, you know, Letty's kind of like, well, we're not those type of people. We embrace the craziness. And then Don embraces the craziness. Then you're just like, hey, who's watching Little Brian? Like, bad parenting, I will say. Because yeah, it was definitely like, who is the babysitter? We need to know. But we do find out that Brian O'Connor, formerly played by Paul Walker, was on babysitter duty. So there, you know, he's still alive in this franchise. And I gotta say, I kind of choked up a little bit about how they also paid homage to him at the very end. It was super cool. And you know, anytime you see the skyline, the blue skyline, it's just always gonna mean something to me. And like the way how they were able to keep him relevant in this story, but kind of keep him distant. Obviously he's not dead, but he's just away on parenting duties. And yeah, the little thing at the end is pretty interesting, I'll say. Tyrese is just he had way too much fun in this film. He was fantastic with his humor, his goofiness, this at times even being corny. But Tyrese is just still one of the most enjoyable parts of this franchise. Him and Ludacris, how they work against each other is just it's always special. It's always the go-to moments for me. When you see them two on screen, you know something silly is going to be said. But I will say too, like, the moment you start thinking about science in this film, you have already failed yourself. And the fact that there's so much like them applying how much science they've used and numbers and stuff like that. They also joke about how the science is just completely, like, it doesn't make sense in this, how unpractical it is. So, like, again, this is funny how this movie seems to kind of make a mockery of itself by, like, kind of joking about things that happen in the film. Like, there's a running joke going on with Tyrese in this film about him basically being untouchable and how he never gets hurt. And he literally pulls like a Jason Statham and mixed with I don't know who else is invincible out there, action star, I don't know, but like you just see him go through things where like he's completely untouchable, never get hurt, and he's just like, am I invincible? Like, this doesn't make sense. I don't understand. How do I keep going through all of this and never die? And Chuck Norris and Jason Statham mixed together is what Tyrese was basically implying who he is in regards to just being untouchable. And it's funny because you're just like, there's no way he should survive these situations. And that's what I thought. And then he literally says like, yeah, I wonder how I'm making it out of this. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So like, it's really funny how they really bring joke to that. I will say too that John Cena as Jakob, Toretto, the brother. John Cena is a bad guy. I still have a really difficult time with dealing with. Like, it just, in wrestling, he was never a bad guy. You know, Bumblebee, he was a bad guy, but like, I could never really take him serious as a bad guy. But I will say, like, the story between him and Dom and both Vin Diesel and John Cena working together, like, I didn't mind it. It worked. I initially did not like the casting because I was just like, what? But I didn't mind it at all. And I thought they fared well together on screen, so for sure. But I will say this too, that the one thing that you have to keep into consideration, that there's a ton of plot holes in this because things are moving kind of rapidly, and like, the moment you start trying to be really logical about this film, that's when you stop enjoying it, because there's absolutely flaws in things and things that just don't make sense. And like, it's kind of weird because there's like believable things in an unbelievable universe, because there is moments where it's like, oh, that makes sense why that would be that way, and then there's things that just completely don't make sense. And then the moment you start thinking too hard, you just lose yourself. So like, my biggest advice is just really to just watch this and have fun. Also, I cannot wait for Honesty trailer to do this. This is probably going to be their best work yet, because there's going to be some things I know that they're going to have fun with. Because like, if you watch Honesty trailers and how they kind of make fun of Transformers, the Fast and Furious, this film is built like all the other films. The same sequence of things kind of happen, the same scenery, the same predictable moments, they just continue to just happen. And you know, while each of these movies is all about taking the stunts higher and higher, where now we see them go to space, you know, you're waiting for that. But overall, the structure of the film is just all the same, like, for real. Now, here's some interesting things I want to talk about here with this film. The Tokyo Drift party is back. Bow Wow, Lucas Black, and the other guy, they are back. They're back in this, and it looks like that they could be really pivotal moving forward with them being in the Fast and Furious crew. So I don't know if we're getting the Tokyo Drift 2, which I'll be cool with, or they're just going to be part of like Fast 10. But they are in the film, and they are central to things that are happening, which is interesting. What's also interesting is that Dom went to see the Shaw brothers' mother, and she said, which one of my sons are you looking for this time? Which means that both of the Shaw brothers are still alive. Now, we knew Luke Evans Shaw was on a medical bed as Jason Statham Shaw went to avenge him, but we didn't really see what happened to him after that. But that does confirm that both of them are still around. And then the fact that this film took place part of this film was in London, you're kind of wondering like how much of they were aware of everything that was going on here. Cardi B was in it. She was not good to me. I'm just gonna just throw that out there. Han coming back, his story with that and Mr. Nobody, I can kind of get with, but like the fact that Han almost died again, which you'll find out in this film, is just like, huh? Like really? But yeah, Han has had a rough life, shall I say? You know, the one thing I will say too is that I seen it in the Dolby theaters, so the sound was really good, especially when they was dealing with these magnetic things that were going on. The sound was really, really dope. The overall plot and what's happening in this story about them, you know, again, retrieving a device that if it gets into the wrong hand, it could be catastrophic. Same scenario as the other one, so very simple, no reason to even go over that. But the sound quality was really good towards the magnetic devices that was going on. So like the tech was really cool in this, the driving was really cool. There was a bunch of action within the first 20 minutes, like a lot of action, like a lot. And it was so much action that like, again, you start thinking about the plot, you're gonna just be lost, and thinking about how practical it is, you're gonna be lost, because like it was just so much of this randomness happening that you're just like, all right, you know what, just give me more and more explosions and let it just be that. And then the big thing is that there's a mid-credit stinger here. Now the mid-credit stinger shows you Jason Statham, his Shaw, I forget his name, but that Shaw, and you know him and Han has had that issue because that's apparently the person who killed them, and Shaw and Han goes to pay him a visit. What this tells me, besides this being a really like stunning stare off that happens, is that I think this means that Shaw is going to be back in the Fast and Furious franchise and not in his own little spin-off universe with Hobbs and Shaw. Now we know that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Vin Diesel had issues in the past. They say they squash it or whatever, but if this means that they're going to kill Hobbs and Shaw from going any further, then that's perfect. I'm really cool with that. And if they're going to continue to use Shaw because his family still all exists, as we know, and bring him back into this, that could be interesting. And like when you think about the cast already, there's so many notable names inside of this cast with a huge payroll, I would imagine. Him bringing back on just seems to be the right thing to do. Because Hobbs and Shaw was terrible, but Jason Statham as Shaw was interesting. He was a good villain, and if Luke Evans comes back alongside of him and it's the Shaw brothers versus the Fast family, then that could be something as well too. So I really like that's what they're doing. I hope they kill Hobbs and Shaw. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, as much as I like him in other stuff, I did not like him in the Fast and Furious franchise. I feel like he was a detriment to it, because it just was starting to become all about him when it was really about Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. And Paul Walker's unfortunate death opened up the doors for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to be a regular. And, you know, no one asked for that, because I didn't. So, overall, I had a lot of fun with this film, and I think you will too if you are Fast and Furious franchise lover. You love these characters, you've grown up with them, you'll have a lot of fun with this. This is not something you're going to miss at all if you know, been anticipating as much as I had. So totally check it out. Jump in the comments and let me know what you thought about it. And again, just have fun with this. Really have fun, because it is a very fun film. And I think definitely going to see it in Dolby or IMAX is definitely the way to go here. So, but yeah, folks, thank you so much for checking out my review. Jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about this film. And as always, stay tuned, because we got more reviews coming very soon.